In the shimmering heat of the Crimson Sands Desert, where mirages dance like spirits across the dunes, Kazuki Mirage was born during a celestial convergence that bathed the night sky in auroras of impossible colors. From his earliest memories, Kazuki realized the world around him responded to his thoughts, sand swirling into intricate mandalas when he focused, desert creatures approaching without fear when he wished for companionship and rain, occasionally falling from clear skies when his infant cries reached their peak. Raised by his mystical grandmother, who recognized his gift as an ancient desert blessing, she taught him meditation techniques to harness his multidimensional cognition, explaining that his mind existed partly in our reality and partly in the realm where possibilities were born. In their humble village of Oasis, Kazuki secretly practiced bending small aspects of reality, healing injured animals, creating floating orbs of light to illuminate night gatherings, and once accidentally splitting the moon into twin celestial bodies for several breathtaking minutes before panicking and restoring it. When he turned 18, his grandmother encouraged him to seek education beyond their village, knowing his powers would be needed elsewhere. "Your mind bridges dimensions, Kazuki, but your heart must find its purpose among people," she whispered, pressing an ancient amulet into his palm that would help stabilize his abilities when emotions threatened to overwhelm him. The sprawling metropolis of Neo-Phoenix, its gleaming spires and neon-drenched streets, overwhelmed Kazuki's senses when he arrived at Quantum University. His desert upbringing leaving him naive to urban complexities. While struggling to adjust, he encountered Aria Nightingale, a brilliant astronomy student whose mind fascinated him. Her thoughts sparkled like constellations. Unlike the clouded consciousness of most students who shuffled zombie-like between classes, their eyes unnaturally dull. Following one such student led Kazuki to discover ShadowCorp, a pharmaceutical conglomerate secretly testing experimental consciousness-altering drugs on unwitting students, creating addicts whose perceptions could be manipulated and harvested as data for military dream infiltration technology. When Aria herself disappeared after investigating student disappearances for the university newspaper, Kazuki's powers surged with emotional intensity, his eyes glowing with golden light as reality rippled around him. Using his multidimensional perception, he could see the psychic tethers connecting students to ShadowCorp's hidden laboratory beneath the campus. And by simply reimagining those connections, he severed them with a thought, freeing dozens from their mental prison. The confrontation with ShadowCorp's executives became legend among students. Witnesses described how the mysterious desert boy walked through walls, as if they were illusions, redirected security lasers with a wave of his hand, and most impressively created a pocket dimension, where he trapped the corporation's CEO, only releasing him after forcing him to experience the collective suffering of all his victims. When Kazuki finally found Aria in a stasis chamber, her mind nearly consumed by the experimental drugs, he did something he'd never attempted. He entered her consciousness, his own mind becoming a golden thread weaving through the fractured labyrinth of her thoughts, carefully restoring her shattered reality. As the architect became Neo-Phoenix's reluctant guardian, his abilities continued evolving. He could now perceive parallel timelines, restructure matter at will, and even freeze time momentarily, yet no power compared to the wonder he felt when Aria, fully recovered, looked at him with understanding rather than fear, her fingers intertwining with his as she whispered, "You showed me there are more dimensions to reality than even my scientific mind imagined, including the dimension where I've fallen completely in love with you." Together, they created a sanctuary where recovering students could heal Kazuki using his powers to create beautiful mindscapes for therapy, while Aria developed a scientific framework to explain his abilities to the world. Their love story becoming as legendary as his powers, proof that even a mind that could rewrite reality still needed a heart to give it purpose.